Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy FGC Chris here, and yes, we're finna talk about another content creator. His name is True Underdog Gaming. He's way bigger than me, guys. He's like 400,000 subscribers, big in the FGC scene. But the last couple of videos he's put out have really kind of just been kind of a crazy take on things. Some true, some not so much, but we're gonna talk about one of them today. I might do the other one, the MK1 haters. I might do that video, but we're gonna start off with the Greed Kill Mortal Kombat 1 because I don't really think greed is what killed that game. But we're gonna see what he has to say about it. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Greed ruined Mortal Kombat 1, and today you'll learn the full story. However you feel about Mortal Kombat 1,
It sucks.
Love it or hate it, I think we can all see how divided the fan base is. Mortal Kombat's
Extremely
reputation
divided.
has been comboed pretty hard by this game. In other words, many fans are upset about how this game was handled. From overpriced DLC to absurdly priced microtransactions, very grindy game modes, and so on. And honestly, it's a real shame because I think Mortal Kombat 1 has incredible gameplay and could have
Bro, have you played that game? Incredible gameplay. That's one of those things where I say, dude, this is why people say they're toxic positive content creators, man. Like, oh man, the gameplay is incredible. Like, no, it's not incredible. It's very slow and it's very boring. And honestly, I wish they would put a 1v1 mode in that game where you take all the cameos out and it's just 1v1 and just let people play it. I guarantee if they put that kind of mode in that game, it'll bring a lot of people back to the game. But let's go ahead and get more into it.
have been the best Mortal Kombat game, but unfortunately, Greed handicapped this game out of the gate, and that's no exaggeration. You'll see very soon how Greed crippled this game from the starting line. You very likely noticed that my voice is gone. I'm going to try my very best to finish the video anyway, because it's a very important lesson on how not to run a video game. Anyone responsible for the decisions mentioned in this video should never be allowed to touch any video game ever again, because whatever game they work on next is also going to be ruined by them as well. Even though the core elements of Mortal Kombat 1 are fantastic in my opinion, like the title of this video
He's entitled
said,
to his opinion.
Greed ruined Mortal Kombat 1.
If he feels like the
First up,
gameplay is
we
awesome,
have the
cool.
release date. That's right, the greed starts here, because Mortal Kombat 1 was not ready to launch in September, nor
No,
was
it
it
was
originally planned to in the first place, and that became clear to everyone playing the game in those early days. The data in training mode was wrong, you couldn't even map the moves, the online did not work properly, there was no crossplay, even the story mode had glitches, and so on. The game was obviously meant to drop next year in 2024, but somebody up top, very likely the game producers, rushed it out of the door and
Well, that's one thing we both can agree on. That yeah, this game was probably rushed out the door way too fast. And yeah, it probably should have waited till 2024 to release sometime around there, because right about now is where the game kind of feels like is a final finished product. Even though they're still missing certain features. I don't think crossplay has been enabled. I'm not sure. I can't remember because I haven't kept up with it, but I don't think it is enabled. But there's still some things they're still working on, but the game is in a much better place than it was when it first launched.
forced it to release in September. And why did they do that? Because they wanted the money right away. In other words, they got greedy. I found a great article on GameFAQs that does a fantastic job explaining what likely happened to this game and why it was forced to release months earlier than originally planned. So feel free to pause the video if you want to.
You can
but
pause
to
the
keep
video and
things
read all
simple,
that.
many other video games that were owned by the same company that owns NetherRealm and Mortal Kombat 1 had underperformed that year. And of course, that looks really bad to investors. So now Mortal Kombat 1 had to drop early to make up those costs and make the earnings for 2023 look way better.
But whose fault is that, man? Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League was a terrible game. I think the only game they really had that hit it was Hogwarts Legacy. That was probably their biggest hit that year, but they had a lot of games that just basically bombed. And Suicide Squad, I think it's a year in, and they're already killing the servers for it. So that's another game that you won't be able to play without the servers. They patched in on offline mode, so you'll still be able to play the game, just not with anybody else, unless you get somebody co-oping on your couch.
And ever since Mortal Kombat 1 was forced to drop early, NetherRealm has been playing catch-up the entire time. Some of the game's Week 1 issues would still not be fixed until many months later, like the crossplay feature. This was a terrible start for Mortal Kombat 1 because players were immediately upset.
Yeah.
They were basically tricked.
Because I remember this dude, I was pissed off with the game.
The people up top
once I got after the beta
before 2024. Greed had already begun to ruin this game. Next up, let's talk about the costume prices. If you turn on Mortal Kombat 1 today,
look at these shitty costumes, bro.
So,
and they were charging $10 for that
junk.
junk.
Games like Tekken 8 and also Street Fighter 6.
Christmas color, like, dude, they were charging
for the first few months.
Bro, they were charging $10 for some of them shitty Christmas costumes. Like this one right here, $10. I'm like, Sub-Zero, that's my boy. I did not buy it. I bought MK3 Sub-Zero for $10 because I just liked that look. I didn't like this one. But now, all of a sudden, because it made no sense for them to be charging $10 for skin. Like you said, when you had costumes on Street Fighter are what, $5? Tekken costumes are around about the same, about $4 to $5. So why would you think people would want to pay $10 for a costume? Like, it's crazy, bro.
Of Mortal Kombat 1, these costumes cost $10. That's right, an entire deck of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, or at least that's the price I paid as a kid. To put it another way, if you bought only 6 of these costumes, then you would be purchasing the game a second time. Whoever's idea it was to charge this much, you managed to upset all of the players all over again. And if I worked at WB, you would be replaced immediately. But sadly I don't, which means you're free to make more dumb decisions like this in the future. So hopefully you work on a different game at the very least. My fingers are crossed you'll be working on a different genre. Stay away from fighting games. But I digress. Charging this much for skins right out of the gate made the message very clear. Mortal Kombat 1 was all about money. This game's main priority is to earn those dollar bills. And as mentioned earlier, it's because other games owned by
Well, you can say the same thing about that's kind of going back to the MK11 days where they would sell you this add-on, the Aftermath pack, which was what I think like $40, another $30-$40 past the game. Like they had already started creeping towards that in MK11 with some of the stuff that they were charging you for, like a story mode expansion. Okay, $40. But the difference I thought with the MK11 one was, you could buy all these individual character Sector and Cyrax. You could buy them separately. You didn't have to buy the full pack, which in this case, MK1, you had to, at one point in time when the game first, when Khaos Reigns first came out, you had to buy everything. You couldn't just buy, I just want Sector, I just want Cyrax, or you couldn't just buy an individual character by itself. You had to buy the whole pack. And that's what really pissed a lot of people off.
WB had flopped terribly, and now Mortal Kombat 1 is expected to cover those costs. And I want to make the record clear, I do not think that NetherRealm was responsible for these prices. I really don't. It was likely...
I would agree with him on that one to a certain extent, because I'm pretty sure NetherRealm probably had input on it. Whether or not their input was listened to or not, that's to be determined. But I don't believe that they probably set the prices for them.
One of the producers or managers, you get the idea. So do not get mad at NetherRealm about these prices. Get mad at them for waiting an entire year to buff Natara and Havoc. Alright, but now time for a funny side story. At one point, Mortal Kombat 1 announced a new holiday-themed stage. Johnny Cage's mansion was going to get a Halloween makeover. It was completely free and also
I didn't care about that
joke. So as a result,
honestly,
fans were excited
I honestly didn't care about
they learned it was only temporary. That's right, originally this new stage was going to be for a limited time only, which means once again the fans were upset. This game could not get any cheaper. The costumes way too expensive. Any DLC way too expensive.
The costumes were shit.
Free stuff,
I think the costumes will fly
now,
people would have bought them regardless of the
$10
price tag.
And fixed this problem by making the stage permanent. And that's great, but it has me wondering, why was the stage temporary to begin with? Did they plan on charging for this later on in the future? I bet they did. I would not be surprised.
Bro, trying to act like
plan was to give us a taste of this.
Bro, this is one thing about him I don't particularly like, is that he tries to put this self-righteous indignation like, oh, WB was going to charge you. Bro, you cannot put everything at the feet of WB. Like he just lets NetherRealm skirt away with everything. They didn't have anything to do with this. I'm like, okay, bro, if you want to believe that they had nothing to do with why this game is such a piece of shit, then go right ahead. But you can see why people call him a toxic positive, a toxic positive content creator, dude, because he puts no blame on NRS for anything.
New stage, then take it away and bring it back, but this time you have to pay for it. Ooh, that's right, little gamer. Did you enjoy that Halloween stage? It can be yours again.
No, I didn't give a shit about
money
it
this time. My voice is already going. This is not good. But then we have the holiday finishing moves. That's right. Mortal Kombat 1 was charging us for finishing moves, which had been done before in Mortal Kombat X, I think. However, the prices were much lower, or possibly even free. My memory is not the best. My point is, a DLC finishing moves were not a new idea, but they were very lowly priced, so nobody cared. But not this time, baby. $12. That's right, $12 for just one of.
If you want to talk about these finisher moves, these things need to be cut down, man. Because that was one of the main things I hated about playing Mortal Kombat 1, dude. You would be in the middle of a match, the guy would win, he would be a fatality. You would be sitting there for damn near 2 minutes waiting on a restart to the next match. Because the fatalities take forever. A fatality should be like, boom, quick, done. Let's get back to the match. It was so much times I used to just hate just sitting there like, man, can we just go to the next match? Can we just play the second match? Like, they got a bigger problem with no fatality than just the price of them. They need to cut them down to where they're just maybe like 15 seconds.
Of these bad boys. But get this, the backlash from fans was so fast and so swift that the price got dropped immediately. Players were raging out all over social media, and it actually worked this time. So now, if you paid $12 in advance, you would get all 3 of the holiday finishers.
And that's another thing, man. Trying to pay in advance for finishers and DLC and shit. Stuff that's not even coming.
Halloween finisher,
thank you.
Which was also frustrating. Just charge $2 or $3 for finishing moves individually
I'll cut
as
that
they
out.
arrive. Don't be greedy and demand the players buy all 3 of them at once, because when you do that, it sends a clear message that all you care about is money. These holiday finishers are not for the fans at all. It's just a fast way to make money by overcharging those same fans. This was another.
But at the same time, it's optional. You don't have to buy this stuff. He keeps making it seem like you have to buy these things in order to play Mortal Kombat 1, and you don't have to buy any of that junk. You could, outside of the MK3 costume for Sub-Zero, I don't buy any of that crap. I just play the game. If I can earn a costume, I earn it. If not, I'm not worried about it. Because I know eventually they're gonna put a lot of that stuff on sale. It's gonna be unlockable or it's gonna go on sale sooner or later. So I'm not paying $12 or $10 for stuff. So, but he's trying to make it seem like you just have to do this. And even some of the players act like you just have to buy this stuff. Like, you don't have to buy it, bro, if you don't want it. If you can't afford it, don't buy it.
Massive blunder for Mortal Kombat 1. Everyone earlier who bashed the game for being greedy and anti-gamer had just been validated, and anyone left who did still trust the game was having their faith tested. So now we come to the final nail in the coffin. If you thought $10 for one costume was crazy, then hold your breath. And if you thought $12 for one holiday finisher was crazy, then hold on to your butts.
And that was the big problem with Khaos Reigns. You had to pay $50 to basically, you had to pay $50 for the DLC. And it wasn't like you could buy each DLC character individually. No. You had to pay $50 to get everything. Even if you didn't want some of those DLC characters, they force you to have to buy this. They've relented on it. Now we're not able to buy them separately now, but when Khaos Reigns first came out, you had to pay $50 up front for everything. So if you only wanted Noob Saibot, $50. You only wanted Sector, $50. It didn't matter, and that's right there is what really just pissed me off about this game, and really pissed off the whole community right there.
DLC bundle. New story mode, 6 new characters, and a bunch of new costumes. Everything fans wanted, and also what this game needed to keep itself alive. And all it cost you was $40. That's right, and depending on where you lived, it was
guys,
even more
we
expensive.
finally finished the game.
Surely we can buy the characters separately,
You want the finished game?
Nope,
pay us
you
another
gotta buy
$50.
all 6 of them right now. Otherwise, you're waiting months until you can play any of them. And by the way, players didn't even know there'd be an option to buy the characters separately later on because NetherRealm never mentioned that. WB never mentioned that. Or in other words, for all players knew, if you wanted to play any of these characters, then you had to buy the entire DLC bundle. There was no way to play them separately. Okay, well, what if I want to buy story mode separately? Can I do that? Just buy story mode?
Can't do that.
No, of course you can't. You have to buy the entire bundle. If you only want to play the story mode and don't care about these DLC characters, then too bad. You gotta pay for the whole thing or get nothing at all. And the same thing goes for the new costumes. There was no way to purchase any of this content separately. It was all or nothing. Pay the $40 or get no new content at all. Yeah, this was the final nail in the coffin.
And I was just like,
Mortal
no,
Kombat
I'm
1.
not doing
Nobody trusted this game anymore. The producers had made their message clear. This game would never offer fair prices for anything. It was all about earning them money. NetherRealm tried to fix things as best they could by offering lots of free content afterwards, but it was too late. The damage had already been done. Most Mortal Kombat players already had their...
You mean in that shitty ass invasion mode? Dude, that invasion, oh my god. Invasion is such a slog, bro. It's like just going from fight to fight, test your might stuff. It's like it is the most boring mode in that game. I'm like, but it's not even worth playing, man. The only time I played Invasions was when Sub-Zero's season came up, and I wanted a certain Sub-Zero palette swap color that he had, a nice white Carolina blue color, and that's the most I've played Invasion. And the second I got it, I stopped playing that piece of crap.
faith beaten to a pulp. Even players today who are waiting on Combat Pack 3 are still woefully aware of how expensive it's all going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be another $50.
There likely won't be an option to buy the characters separately. And the same goes for Story Mode Part 3 and also the costumes. All because the people up top who control this game want money above all else. Even if that means permanently damaging the game's reputation.
Wow, a company wants money. A multi-million-dollar company wants to make money.
To look back
wow, that's surprising,
horribly this game was handled, and it's not even a matter of hindsight. Any normal person would have known not to charge $10 for a costume. Any normal person would have known to not charge $10 for an announcer. Any normal person never would have charged $12 for one holiday finish.
Well, let's be honest, man. Street Fighter charges you basically $10 for a costume, because you have to buy $10 worth of fight coins in order to get one costume. So people are willing to pay the price if they want it. The problem is people didn't want the costumes. They didn't want what they were offering. Or they basically said, hey, this is not worth that. So if people felt like the finishers, the costumes, and all that stuff was worth the price, they would have paid it.
Finisher, and certainly no rational person would ever try to charge $40+ for a DLC bundle with zero options to buy the content separately. Seriously, I don't think any other fighting game has ever done that. There's always an option to buy the characters separately if you want to, and that's because it's a win-win for the players and the sellers. The players get a cheaper option, and the seller gets more purchases overall, which means more money overall. It's not rocket science. Whoever handled this stuff with Mortal Kombat 1 needs to get replaced. Put them on a different game at the very least, because this person or possibly group of people single-handedly ruined the reputation of this series. And it's
they didn't single-handedly ruin the reputation of this game. NetherRealm had a good handshake in that too.
Even months from now, or possibly a year from now, when the next Mortal Kombat game gets announced, guess what? There's gonna be way less excitement because nobody trusts this series anymore. But there you have it, everyone. The full story of how greed ruined Mortal Kombat 1 and also damaged the reputation of the entire series. I'm very sorry that my voice was gone and I sound...
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video, guys, but I don't think it's the greed that basically ruined this game. Did it have a hand in it? Yeah, it definitely had a hand in it. But the fact that the game was not really finished, The combos are kind of boring. The characters themselves feel kind of stiff. Uh, there was way more things that contributed to the death of this game, more so than just greed. Because, like I said, dude, if people really want something, they're gonna pay for it. The problem is the game wasn't fun. Invasions wasn't fun. You really weren't getting anything out of it. Like Combat League, dude. Combat League to me is so dumb with the fact that they reset your rank every season. Like, dude, I don't want to sit here and grind all the way to the top and then get reset and have to start that all over again, dude. Nobody wants to do that. They've been making mistake after mistake after mistake, and the fact that he doesn't give NetherRealm any blame in why this game is so messed up shows you that he himself doesn't want to basically ruin his relationship with NetherRealm. Because I'm sorry, the company, the higher ups that you keep saying, have nothing to do with how this game is playing and how the game functions. That's NetherRealm. They need to fix the game. And they've had almost going into year 2, and we're still waiting on fixes, buffs, and everything for this game. But that's all I got to say, guys. I didn't want this video to be this long, but that's my opinion on it. We might do the MK1 haters video as well, but y'all take care of yourself. Let me know what y'all think about this True Underdog down in the comments down below. I'll talk to y'all guys later. Peace. I'm out.